Hello, my name is Juan Cuevas. I work at Instituto Chileno Norteamericano de Cultura and Universidad de Chile. Today we're going to speak about a very important educational tool which makes use of all the resources available on the internet. This presentation is called Quest for Fire on the Internet. But what is this fire thing I'm referring to? Well, it says, centuries ago, tribes fought for a precious element, fire. It gave them power, independence, and wisdom, and also peace. Nowadays, tribes fight for a different precious element, information. Where and how fast they can get it is the key to survival and success. For this reason, internet has become a very powerful source of information in different formats. We have, for example, magazines, encyclopedias, newspapers, and obviously the web in general, with all the multimedia resources you can find online. For example, we have magazines. This is a very good example of an online magazine. This is the Guinness Book of Records. I'm quite sure you have heard about this before. And the good thing about the Guinness Book of Records is that it has all kinds of curious and interesting things to read about. So most probably your students will love this page. Well, encyclopedias, obviously we can speak about Wikipedia, okay? Wikipedia is a very interesting encyclopedia because it's like a Web 2.0 tool, okay? It's a collaborative encyclopedia and cooperative. So people can edit and add additional articles. And obviously newspapers, for example, the New York Times. You can find all kinds of newspapers online. For example, we also have the Santiago Times, with information about Santiago and Chile in general. So this is also a very good source of information for your students. And of course, we have the web with all the other resources we can find. We have audio files, video files, animations, particularly for those students with different learning styles. And also if you're focusing on different intelligences. But the question is, why the internet? Well, for all kinds of reasons. For example, authentic materials. Most of the materials available on the internet have been created by native speakers, okay, who have been speaking or writing about real things. And obviously having in mind like a universal audience, not only students of English, but people in general. Well, also the multimedia input with video, audio, and animations. Motivating input. Just think about this new concept of the net generation and also the digital natives. So these people, are very happy when you introduce or incorporate technology into the classroom. And obviously, computer skills. Using the internet and computers encourages, the students to develop these very important skills. In this context, information and communication technologies have become a fundamental ally, when you prepare a class, especially an internet or a computer-based class. We have, for example, traditional technologies like the radio, the television, the CDs or the DVDs, and the video. And also more modern elements like computers and the internet. And also, we shouldn't forget about the Web 2.0 tools like we shouldn't forget also the Web 2.0 tools, like for example, weblogs, wikis, and also content management systems. Well, all these elements are crucial when you are supposed to create, store, transmit, retrieve, share, and exchange information. In this scenario, different educational tools have been created, which mix these two very powerful elements, technology on the one hand and information on the other. For example, we have internet projects. This is an example of a very simple internet project. As you can see, there you have the topic, in this case, food around the world. You have a very short description of the task, and finally, the resources the students are supposed to use. Apart from the internet projects, we also have web digs. But what is a web dig? Well, a web dig is something very similar to an internet project. And as you can see, the word dig stands for discover, investigate, and generate. So in a sense, the idea is pretty similar to an internet project. But maybe the most popular concept is web quests. But what is a web quest? Well, according to Dodge and March, creators of this concept of web quests, a web quest is an inquiry-oriented activity in which most or all of the information used by learners is drawn from the web. Web quests are designed to use learners' time well, to focus on using information rather than looking for it. This is a very important, crucial thing to consider. And to support learners thinking at the levels of analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. But what about the basic stages of a web quest? Well, first we have the introduction. So here we present the topic and motivate our students. This is the moment we are supposed to engage our students actively. Ideally, we should try to find those topics that might be relevant and meaningful for them. Then we have the task. Describe the product expected by the end of the activity. So in this part, you are supposed to set clearly what they are supposed to produce. Is it going to be a PowerPoint presentation? Is it going to be an oral report, a written report, or a poster? So this is very important. The students need to know what they are supposed to come up with. Then the process. You are supposed to suggest the steps and, very important, provide the resources. So in this part, the idea is to kind of clarify and specify the course of action for the students to follow. Then we have the evaluation, suggest a rubric to measure the result. The rubric is kind of, to specify clearly the criteria upon which they're going to be evaluated. And finally, the conclusion. So in the conclusion, you close the activity and your students are supposed to reflect upon the experience. A web quest can be implemented using different formats. Maybe the simplest format is just by using a Word document or a PDF file. Here we have 4 different examples of Word-based and PDF-based web quests. For example, this is a Word-based web quest, and as you can see, the topic is very appealing, especially to teenagers. It's computer games. As you can see there, we have the introduction. So in this part, you're supposed to explain a little bit what the task is going to be about.